Hey everybody. First I want to say thank you for taking a minute to hear a little bit about my story. My name is Leslie Butenbaugh, and I just wanted to come by and share a little bit of my last 3 years journey with Plexus, how my life has changed and how the life of my family has changed. I was that mom, the one with the short temper and always yelling at my kids. It didn't matter how much sleep I got, how much Pepsi I drank, or how often I counted to 10, I always yelled. I wasn't just short-tempered with my kids, I was short-tempered with everyone around me. It was an absolute miserable way to live. It had gotten so bad that there were members of my family that just plain quit inviting me to things. It was so hurtful, but what could I do? Did I look at myself as the problem? Nope. I blamed it on them, and they were too easy on their kids. They just didn't understand. Now you fast forward 5 years from there, the kids were older, more mature, which should temper some of the yelling, right? No need to yell when they're older and should know how to act right. Boy, howdy was I wrong. I would yell at them for the smallest things. The dishes weren't done right. The laundry wasn't put away. They left stuff on the floor in the bathroom. They complained about what I cooked for dinner. You know, that one night of the week that I actually cooked dinner. I was the mom in the neighborhood that never wanted to open the windows because I yelled at my kids so much. I would sound like a banshee. Let's just say I was a pretty miserable person to be around. To add to my misery, I was always in pain. For those that don't know, my 3 oldest children and I were involved in a car accident about 12 years ago involving a semi. Let's just say we were lucky to be alive. We're very lucky. For me, that there was residual pain that came with my healing. Pain that I never thought would go away. I went to weekly chiropractor appointments. I attended therapy appointments, and at times the pain got so bad that I actually had to resort to going to see my doctor and get some muscle relaxers so that I could sleep. I hate pain medication, so I would take one a day right before bed for a couple of days to get me some relief and get some sleep, and then I would put the bottle away because I didn't want to become dependent on that medication. I had done everything right, but I was still in pain. On top of the muscle pain, I had stomach pain and major stomach issues. You would think that if you watch what you eat and you eat clean, no processed foods, none of that junk, that there should be no gut issues, right? Wrong. It didn't matter what I ate. I would have to lay down after every single meal to allow my gut to process the food that I ate. It didn't matter if I ate a healthy salad or if I ate a quarter pounder from McDonald's. The result was the same. It didn't matter, which is really frustrating when you're trying to do the right thing and you're trying to be healthy. This is where my habit of not eating breakfast or lunch came from. You can't lay down at work in the middle of the day, so eating a meal that resulted in me having to go to work or go back to work was not in the cards. It's not a very healthy choice. We all know that it's not healthy for you to skip meals, but I had to do what I had to do to survive. Let's not forget that when you're overwhelmed and you're in pain, you're completely exhausted. No matter how much you rest or you sleep, you just can't get your oomph going again. You know what I'm talking about here. That all-day energy that every single one of us craves and wants, it just wasn't there. Lord knows I love my naps. Even though majority of the time when I take a nap, I feel horrible when I wake up. I either don't sleep long enough or I sleep too long and I just feel icky the whole rest of the day. I lived on Pepsi and coffee and energy drinks and sugar to get me through my days. I had a stash of Monsters in my refrigerator at work just in case. Just in case I couldn't get something else. I stopped at Casey's just about a mile down the road from my house 4 times a day. I'd stop before work. I'd stop at lunch. I would leave for lunch even if I didn't need to go get a Pepsi. I'd go before work, at lunch, after work, and depending on what we had going on that evening and how much running around there was, I might, in between activities, stop and fill my cup again. 4 Pepsis a day. With the pace of life that we were living, I was surviving. I was doing anything I could to have the energy to get off the couch and get to my kids' games and get to their activities. And truly, I was surviving 1 Pepsi at a time. That's how I live my life. I was surviving. But like all of us, I wanted to thrive. I wanted to have that in my life. I wanted to get past surviving. For most of you should know, if you don't and you're new to my life, that's okay. You know that my oldest son, Connor, played basketball. He's played since he was about 5. I'm pretty sure he was born with a basketball in his hands, like they gave it to him at the hospital. His freshman year of high school, I attended every single game. Every game. And at each of these games, I noticed a woman in the stands with 4 little boys. Praise Jesus. She was at every game. And she was amazing. She kept her cool. She didn't let those other little boys get the better of her. She was on top of them all the time. They were super cute, but I really envied her. I envied her ability to take 4 boys to a gym and keep them wrangled. I mean, who can do that and not lose their mind, right? That's what I thought. Just so happened she was the coach's wife, so she was at every game. Her and her 4 boys traveled to every single basketball game. Amazing. I watched her. I was trying to not be a creep, but you know, if I was a creep, I was a creep. But she completely blew my mind. I wanted her patience, and I wanted to have this calm that she had with her children. But let's be honest. We all know as a mom, she had her moments where she wanted to rip her hair out and lose her stuff. We all have those moments. But she never did. If I was her, I would have been the mom causing a huge scene in public and embarrassing not only herself, not only myself, but my child and my husband. Like, we would have never gone out in public again. That would have been me. About a year later, I hit a breaking point. We all have those, right? The moment that you hit a wall and you're just like, enough is enough. It's really hard for me to talk about that breaking point because it's still hurtful to think about. My kids hid in their room, and if they had to be home, they postponed that as long as possible. They found every activity they could find to be involved in so they didn't have to be at home. That's hard as a mom to know. I mean, I didn't want to admit it, but it's true. My poor husband, he has handled my moods like a champ because without the kids home, guess who got the brunt of my rants? He is a godsend, and I do not tell him that enough. I hated the person I had become. My friends had alienated themselves from me, along with my family, because I was so miserable to be around. It was a very, very lonely time for me, and anyone who has known me a long time knows I'm a social bug. I love people. I want to be with people. This was miserable for me. I got bad news from my doctor. At my yearly workup, the signs of pre-diabetes and my blood pressures were up. Imagine that, right? Blood pressures are high. My granny was a type 1 diabetic, and I grew up watching her give herself shots every day. And she taught me the signs of a high or a low blood sugar, so I knew that if she had an attack, what to give her. I was experiencing those signs myself. That was not a life I had ever wanted for myself. I did not want my children to have to experience that. Now, don't get me wrong. It happens, and you have to learn how to deal with it. But if I can control it, and I can make changes on my own, by God, I'm going to make those changes. Okay? Enough was enough. I picked up the phone and I called the coach's wife. We had become friends on Facebook, and I had been amazed. But let's be real, I had been skeptical. I had been skeptical of the things she had been sharing about Plexus. She's a nurse practitioner, so my skepticism was met with some evidence. But let's be real. She's a nurse practitioner. She wouldn't be taking products that were bad for you. I mean, let's be real. So she came over and she answered all of my questions. She handled my skepticism with grace. And by the time we were done talking, I had committed. I was committed to 90 days, and I hit sign up the very next day. I started with what's called the Triplex. That would be the slim drink of your choice. We have two now, BioCleanse and ProBio 5. Because remember, I was scared of diabetes. I was terrified of the diabetes. I needed energy, and I wanted to be able to eat. I mean, all of us like to eat. I was blown away. I committed to 90 days, fully intended to get my money back, but never did. I went back for my 6-month checkup. My blood sugars had balanced out, and my blood pressures were better. They weren't perfect, but they were better. So it's all a process, right? My energy, mind-blowing. My energy was better. Oh, and I've not had a Pepsi since I started. My sugar cravings are gone. Don't get me wrong, I still love dessert. Who doesn't? I still love brownies, still love ice cream, but I don't crave it so much that I have to get off the couch, put on my shoes, go down the street to Dillon's, and buy whatever it is I need. I don't have those cravings anymore. Or raiding the cabinet and finding the chocolate chips that you haven't used to bake with and eat those because you have no other sugar in the house. As time's passed, I've added several more of our product to what I take daily, including the Ease in the Nerve. These products were answers to my prayers, people, for 10, 12 years. Remember that pain I talked about? These products have helped me find a natural way to find relief from my pain and heal without pain medications full of chemicals. That is huge for me. I told you, I hate pain medication, and I hate drugs, and I hate antibiotics. I hate them all. If I can find a natural way to do it, I'm going to do it. I never thought I would be able to work out and then not be down for the next 3 days because I overdid it. I never thought I'd be able to get out of bed without being stiff. This journey has been an absolute game changer for me. And I have to share just one more thing. The crazy mommy, total makeover. I'm still known as the mean mom because I do still get onto my kids and I do discipline, but I'm no longer a maniac, which is awesome. I'm no longer the crazy mom. I'm just the mean mom. I don't lose my mind over things like I used to, and I don't. An unexpected thing doesn't set my day. It doesn't just ruin my day like it used to. Like, I used to not be able to do, like, my day would be shot. I wouldn't get off the couch if something didn't go right. I just want to let you know, I share all of this with you. I'm going to read a little thing that I wrote because it's true, and I want to make sure I get it worded correctly, so bear with me. I share all of this with you because I want you to know that if you can even remotely relate to any part of my story, there's hope. You don't have to accept it as normal. You can change it. You can make it better. You can absolutely be the best you there is. Thank you for taking, what now is 14 minutes. I meant for this thing to be under 10. Sorry, I talked too much. Thank you for taking a minute to hear my story. If nothing else, I hope this gives you a little bit of hope that if you can relate, that there is an answer. Please send me any questions you have. Send me any love that you have. And everybody have a great Sunday.